The biggest question I've seen while covering EA NHL games is probably, what's the best way to score? Now, although I see this question a lot, I also think the answer to it is relatively simple and disappointing. Now, whether you are playing against the average player or the computer in NHL 23, the best way you are going to score is going to be with a wraparound as well as a cross crease. There is no method of scoring that can beat out those two methods. It's not even close. The amount of times you'll get scored on by these two goals is drastic in comparison to every other goal. I will say, for myself, the most satisfying goals I score are either breakaways or tip-ins. I was thinking of this in real life terms, and I asked myself the question, in the NHL, what is the best way to score? Kind of a funny question, right? Like, as fans, how do we answer that? It's not really a logical question, to be honest. Regardless, the question led me to an article. And in that article, it states, wrist shots account for 54% of the total shots, 48% of total goals, and have an NHL conversion rate of 8.82%. This then led me to see how the two more basic shots in NHL 23 perform. In past years, blatant slap shots and wrist shots on the goalies would go in relatively easy. But how does that look today in NHL 23? I wanted to take that basic slap shot and that basic wrist shot into three different formats of NHL 23. Play now, practice mode with one player against the goalie, and online versus. With Play Now, it did seem like the goalie saw basically every shot and had zero issues with any of my shots. I would say that's realistic, but I feel like when we watch the NHL, we see D-men slap shot the puck from deep fairly often. I feel like it's a great option to get the fastest shot to the net in real life, but not in NHL 23. Now, before you say it, I am fully aware that this is a video game, but through much testing, you'd be surprised how realistic EA NHL is compared to not realistic. So that's the comparison I'm giving with these examples. In practice mode, I took all sorts of slap shots for testing. Some that were realistic, some that weren't, and really, it's just such a wasteful shot against the goalie, they have no issue reading it at all. Now for online versus, that's when it seemed the most effective. The goalie still saved them all, but it seemed to be the most effective whether it was setting up that tip-in or rebound. Now for wrist shots, that's where we can start to see some real impact. Whether you are taking a wrist shot from deep or up close, you're going to basically never miss the net. And more often than not, the puck will go exactly where you want it to go. Rebounds, tip-ins, picking corners, wrist shots are your best friend. It was only in practice mode I felt the goalie did not struggle with it, but I also feel that is fairly realistic. You have to think, if you see a player and a goalie and they're against each other and you can only take wrist shots, the goalie is going to save most of those. For in-game situations, the wrist shot is what you're not only going to see the most of, but it is guaranteed to give you the best chance to score as well. The best chance for tip-ins because your AI teammate is given more time for accuracy. The best for rebounds because you can place that puck precisely where you want it to go, like blocker side or low pad side, setting up that rebound. And it's going to be the best for accurate shots because, well, like we've been saying, it's pretty much always going to go where you want it to. Although the answer to the question is still the same as at the start of today's topic, if you're looking for the best opportunity to score based off of just one shot, it's the wrist shot, whether it's in NHL or in NHL 23.